It's time for the Coach's Corner Show with your host, Pat Disabato.
Hello and welcome to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. I'm your host, Pat Disabato from the Daily Southtown newspaper, and we are at Athletex Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy in Oak Lawn. This is one of two locations, folks, and we've been at Athletex before, both at the location in Orland Park and the one here at Oak Lawn, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. Second location is 11140 West 179th Street in Orland Park, and we've got the best in the business, folks. Tom Mulvey, owner, physical therapist, exercise physiologist here at Athletex. And, you know, whether it's sports-specific physical therapy, orthopedic physical therapy, aquatic physical therapy, back education, manual therapy, neurological physical therapy, Tom can help you out, him and his staff, get you back on your feet feeling great. And tonight we're going to talk specifically about pain, injury or delayed onset, post-exercise soreness. He's going to tell you the differences. So sit back, enjoy. Very, very informative show. Whether you're a high school athlete, college athlete, or you're just an adult who kind of, you know, has some soreness here, some pain from working out or work-related situation, Tom is going to let you in on all the secrets here and get you back on your feet, what needs to be done. So, all right, folks, we are going to go to a Beggar's Pizza timeout. Remember, join that Big Cheese loyalty program, get plenty of perks, you get some Beggar's bucks, and we all know Beggar's is the best in the business when it comes to pizza, thin crust or deep dish. They lay it on thick. We come back. Tom Mulvey from Athletex will be our guest. Stay tuned.
We came up with a bunch of clever commercial ideas to entice you into trying Beggar's Pizza. We decided to let the food speak for itself.
Hello, boys. I'm a drop-dead gorgeous pepperoni sausage, hold the vegetables deep dish pizza. Just look at my cheese. Your place or mine. Beggar's Pizza. We lay it on thick.
What is a Southsider? From 8 to 5, he's a hard-hat, hammer-swinging, God-fearing son of pride and strength. Gives everything he has to get his job done. Then gives what he has left to his family and friends. It's here where he'll leave his legacy. It's here where he'll buy his truck. During the summer clearance event, drive a new 2019 Ram just $275 a month, or get 20% off MSRP at South Oak Dodge Ram.
Having surgery or dealing with some type of nagging pain that limits your function? Then get to Athletex. We offer treatment for all types of orthopedic injuries, work-related injuries, and sports injuries. Therapists with over 20 years of experience provide treatment that is efficient and effective. Our 2,000 square foot clinics offer state-of-the-art equipment from HydroTrack, Blankenship, and Biodex. If your doctor suggests physical therapy, then you suggest Athletex, where every patient is treated like a champion.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you're just joining us, we are at Athletex Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. Our guest tonight, our old friend Tom Mulvey, owner, physical therapist, exercise physiologist. As you well know, this guy's the best in the business, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about pain. Right? The difference between just kind of like regular pain or working out pain and something that could maybe be a little bit more serious and manifest into something a little bit more serious, and kind of the warning signs, correct?
Yes. It's a great part of the show every year that you kind of steer towards the parents, and we provide some information for them with their kids that compete. And one of the things that these athletes face day in and day out is pain. And parents have to consider whether or not it's something to be worried about.
Yep, absolutely.
So there's really two types of pain that we talk about. One is due to pathological pain, and the other one is due to, it's like a delayed onset muscular soreness. The pathological pain usually manifests itself in an inability to, it limits movement. May not be able to lift their shoulder, may not be able to extend their arm. Usually could result from something that happened immediately, like just playing a game, or that they just had a workout, something of that nature. By comparison to the delayed onset muscle soreness is something that may not happen right away, but it can kind of peak after a few days and starts to linger as a nagging problem.
Yep. And what can cause the pain, Tom?
So they both have an onset that's very similar. It's just varying degrees. So with pathology, it's injury to the tissue that is a little bit more than just a strain or an irritation. They have an inflammatory response. The delayed muscle onset pain also is an irritation and inflammation, but usually it's the result of something that is more of that partial strain, new activity, little stronger workout, something that just changed that may have caused the irritation. Most of the time, the pathological pain is something that's going to linger and affect function for a longer period of time. The delayed soreness may just linger for a few days, but you should see some improvement.
So there are varying degrees of pain then, huh?
Yes.
Okay. What about varying degrees of delayed onset muscular soreness?
So this in the beginning, you start to look at something that could be very similar. Both have similar kind of irritations, but the degrees are different. So when the pathology, you've really disrupted tissue, and that's not going to improve. You can try, and there will be some ways that you treat it conservatively. You usually will have an orthopedist look at that and rule out whether or not there's real disruption to the structure or tissue.
Okay.
Whereas delayed onset muscular soreness, that kind of will run its course. Yes, it can be of a greater degree, but there should be improvement over time. And when something like that doesn't change, this is where the confusion arises. Now we have to consider whether or not there's something more going on.
Okay. So how do you address delayed onset muscle soreness?
So we first, when we determine that it's lingering there, that's when the parent or the coach or the trainer will start to look at what mechanisms could have caused the pain. If it's remaining in a degree to which the player cannot play, then you would pursue treatment. And physical therapy plays a significant role there, because we're able to actually go in and feel where there's irritation and where there's problem, to see if we can determine whether or not it's something that's structural, or if it's something that's just out of function. Strain that with time and with conservative treatment will start to improve and to go away.
So how does inflammation work?
And that's what's a critical part of this, is because the inflammation process is normal. The inflammation process is bringing white blood cells and what we would call macrophages to the area to start to address what is the injury. With delayed onset muscle soreness, it's to a much lesser degree. With pathology, it's to a greater degree. And the question then remains whether or not, and the controversy remains, whether or not this inflammation is a bad thing or a good thing.
So, so that can be a big thing.
And that's the question. And when you treat these areas, you have to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to address it with ice, which is what everyone seems to do, or are you going to address it in some other avenue? And there are multiple things that can be done to help to address the process and expedite it and try to get them better faster.
Okay, so we'll talk about some of those when we get back from this break, sponsored by Lisa Thomas Salon, 3 locations, Mokina, Tinley Park, Orland Park. When we return, more with Tom Mulvey from Athletex. Stay tuned.
At Lisa Thomas Salon, we think loving yourself and your selfie starts with the perfect stylist. That's why we've assembled an amazing team, each with a unique passion for beauty, providing the perfect combination of innovation and experience. Then adding just a little bit of fun. For hair, skin, nails, and makeup, no one does beautiful like Lisa Thomas, because life's too exciting to settle for the same old thing. Schedule today at Lisa Thomas Salon, a Redken Elite partner with 3 area locations.
Bob's Auto Body and Repair in Blue Island has been prospering since 1968 when Robert Warniak Sr. opened a business. Bob's goal? To go above and beyond to satisfy their customers. Whether it's a small ding or a major collision repair, Bob's is a trained technician and state-of-the-art equipment to meet the high standards their customers expect and that Bob's demands. Bob's also offers complete mechanical services for your automobile, from an oil change to brake repairs. Mention this ad, Bob's will detail your car for free with any auto body work or give you a free oil change with any mechanical work. Bob's Auto Body and Repair, Blue Island.
If you're suffering from physical pain, nothing else matters. The one thing that should is Midwest Orthopedic Consultants, because experience never mattered more. Serving the community for 25 years with over 90 years of combined orthopedic experience, our fellowship-trained surgeons provide individualized care to those suffering from orthopedic pain. We deliver comprehensive care from diagnostic to surgical to rehabilitative services, all under one roof in each of our locations. Midwest Orthopedic Consultants, bringing university-level orthopedic care close to home.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you're just joining us, we are at Athletex Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. Second location, 11140 West 179th Street in Orland Park. Our guest, Tom Mulvey, owner, physical therapist, exercise physiologist, and Tom's been on here for years, so we love to have him on. Very informative. We get a lot of compliments on this particular episode when you're on, Tom, because, as you say, parents want to know what's going on with their kids, their athletes, and you're very informative. Tonight we're talking about different types of pain, and what we're going to pick up off of that last segment, Tom, is the difference between pathological pain and delayed onset muscle soreness, and kind of how do you detect and how do you treat it, correct?
Absolutely. So, think of that delayed onset soreness as being the burn after you exercise, or the burn that's in a workout that they're trying to have you experience, and you tiptoe the fine line of whether or not you're aggravating the tissue. Yep. The pathological injury is an injury in which you have definitely irritated the tissue. They both have a very similar inflammatory response, and now we need to figure out how do we sort that out and address it to get that person better. So, the first thing that we had talked about in the last segment was icing. Yep. And there's concerns recently that Dr. Gabe Merkin, who is the person that coined that phrase RICE, rest, ice, compression, elevation, recently had said that he was laying back off of the rest and ice portion. Ice, when you have a relatively new injury, to more than anything else address the analgesic effect. Ice numbs the area. The question now that is, the controversy remains, do we want to decrease the inflammation that's occurring at the injured site? Because that inflammation, as we talked about, is part of the healing process. And if we cool it, in theory, we are decreasing some of the blood flow to the area, and that could compromise the process of getting it to heal. So the ice portion, what we're now saying is more to work as an analgesic, especially after surgery or after the initial injury, and then we want to proceed into other avenues to expedite the process of getting it to heal.
So, something like foam rolling, heat is
Right.
another way, right?
Sure. So we look at heat. Heat was taboo. At the beginning, people would say, oh, you can't heat that because you're going to make the area swell. And the reality is, we want warmth. We want to bring some warmth. We want blood flow to go to the area. We want to produce a healing effect to get rid of some of the metabolites that are there that are having a negative impact, some of the waste products that are there. But we also know that with injury, there is a tendency, because of neurologic involvement, that you get muscle to be more active, not only the muscle that's injured, but muscle that's around. This relaxing effect will help to allow the the area to become healthier and to expedite the process of healing. But it's not, in itself, the cure.
Right.
Foam rolling. Foam rolling, as you said. Some people have really become the apostles of foam rolling, and some people think foam rolling is the cure to everything that ails you. So there is some positive, and the positive with that is it's a form of compression that can stimulate some blood to flow in areas that are inflamed and have decreased blood flow. Problem is, you're kind of directed to do it on your own, and are you doing it in such a way that it's this pain, no pain, no gain type process?
Right, a macho thing, right?
And that isn't, appropriate at this point in time. So they have studies that were done with foam rolling that show that, in and of it themselves, nothing that really changed the process of expediting the healing, but it did allow them to return to activity a little bit quicker. So foam rolling could be a positive. On its own, not necessarily the answer.
Okay. What about exercise?
So that's the issue that Dr. Merkin had brought up and added to it, and when he changed from rest to now a little bit of light activity, light exercise. We do know that one of the inflammatory things that occur, as it occurs in the area, that the lymphatic system helps to get rid of some of that inflammation, but it does it passively. So through the use of active exercise, we can also help to expedite that problem and help it to get rid of some of that inflammation. But the other interesting thing is that we know that with pain, either delayed onset pain or the pathological pain, we have weakness.
Yeah.
And that's the critical issue here for recovery. Through active recovery, through proper use of exercise, we can start the process of still maintaining some semblance of muscle strength and endurance while allowing expediting processes to get the healing to occur.
It's a tricky situation, isn't it?
It's very tricky.
It's very tricky. And that's why we have experts like you to kind of navigate our way through this thing, man. And especially, families, with kids, they don't know, correct?
Yeah. And that's what we've been trying to do, is to share some information with them and to allow them to understand better.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right, folks, we are going to go, coincidentally, to an athletics, sports, and orthopedic physical therapy timeout. When we return, more with Tom Mulvey. Stay tuned. Athletic Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy is a 2,200 square foot facility that includes the latest in rehabilitation equipment, including the HydroTrack underwater treadmill. All therapists at Athletex are experienced and offer hands-on treatment for patients that require such therapy. Whether it's your feet, ankles, knees, hips, lower back, shoulders, elbows, wrists, neck, or jaw, Athletex is here to help. We at Athletex understand you, as a patient, have the right to choose where you receive treatment. Ask your physician if Athletex, with locations in Oak Lawn and Orland Park, is right for you.
What is a Southsider? From 8 to 5, he's a hard-hat, hammer-swinging, God-fearing son of pride and strength. Gives everything he has to get his job done. Then gives what he has left to his family and friends. It's here where he'll leave his legacy. It's here where he'll buy his truck. During the summer clearance event, drive a new 2019 Ram just $275 a month, or get 20% off MSRP at South Oak Dodge Ram.
Whether you're in the mood for a Chicago-style hot dog, Italian beef sandwich, Philly cheesesteak, or charbroiled cheeseburger, Joey's Red Hots has you covered. In the mood for something lighter, Joey's Salads promises to hit the spot. Looking to cool off on a hot day or after a workout? Joey's refreshing homemade Italian ice will satisfy. Come check out Joey's Red Hots at 17400 Wolf Road in Orland Park, or at 115th Street and Western Avenue in the Beverly community, where they're open until 5 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. No matter which location you visit, Joey's Red Hots promises to provide exceptional tasting food at an affordable price. All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. If you're just joining us, we are at Athletex, Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, 4004 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn. Our guest, Tom Mulvey, owner, physical therapist, and exercise physiologist. We are talking pain, and we're at a point now, Tom, where we're talking about recovery, how you get from the recovery stage to getting back onto the playing field, correct?
Right.
And it doesn't matter what sport,
Doesn't
We're
matter
just
what sport.
talking, segueing into the playing field.
So now you have the situation where we talked about using different types of modalities to progress that athlete towards the semblance of activity again. And now when we look at the scope of activity, a lot of times people just say, well, you know, can Johnny go back to practice?
Yeah.
You need to break it down in such a way that you're looking at recovery, and it's active recovery. How is Johnny, if Johnny's a basketball player, how is Johnny with experiencing repetitive movements with that extremity? If it's his knee, can he go through and do a few jumps with that knee and it's tolerable? And that's the immediate sense. Now, as we progress from that, are we looking at what they call short-term recovery? How is Johnny, with repetitive jumps, able to now have the semblance of being able to do those repetitions and actually combine it into a shot? And now we progress from that short-term recovery, which we continue to progress the activity into more function, training recovery. Now we look at Johnny being back at practice or being back in somewhat of a game situation. How is he following that practice?
Yep.
So that we're building the recovery and assessing along the way, and still, you know, making sure that your selection of the degree to which he had injured is proper. As he gets into training recovery, you should be able to see that he is returning back and not having any ill effect.
Yep. And I remember my junior year in high school. You know, I had tendonitis. I was out for like 4 weeks, and you know, as a high school athlete, you just can't wait to get back. You want to get back out there and compete and play, and there's a fine line between being healed and ready to go, and put, you know, the old no pain, no gain thing, right?
Correct. So now you look at, you know, what are the factors that are going to limit that athlete's ability to return back to through the phases of recovery?
Yep.
And one is fatigue. But fatigue is extremely interesting because, you know, fatigue has, we think of fatigue as just being something that's aerobic, but it's not just that. It has central fatigue. You know, the central nervous system has an impact and an influence on our level of fatigue. It controls the heart. It controls the ability to contract muscle, and that's where we get the insight as to how an athlete returns back and has that kind of inner will to succeed. It's because of it's the ability to manifest itself through the brain and to get all of the proper reactions that we need throughout the body to get them through those issues.
Yeah.
So the brain plays a role. Peripherally, we know what that is, and it's what happens in the extremities. It happens with buildup of lactic acid, buildup of waste products, and how the body can handle those things. So and finally we look at neural fatigue. We look at the individual nerves that innervate the muscles that we use, the fine motor muscles, and because they have not been active, how are they reacting to, and with muscle injury, things such as ATP, an energy producing organic chemical that when with injury actually binds to the neural receptors and plays havoc, making them overactive. Things that occur while they're off, we need to have them work through this so that they're successful in returning to the full training recovery.
Yep. So what does this mean for parents, Tom?
So again, we kind of look at this at the end every time when we talk about parents need to ask questions. They need to be active. They need to know what their athletes are doing at training, what they're doing at practice. So when they have pain, they need to talk to their athletes and know when they have the pain. Are they being honest and telling you immediately, or are they just putting up with it and letting it impact their lives? Be an active advocate for them and talk to everybody that treats them so you have a handle on what's going on.
Better to be safe than sorry,
Better
correct?
to be safe than sorry,
Absolutely. All right, Tom, again, we'd love having you on. Continued support, we appreciate it, man.
Appreciate
You're
it.
the best in the business, my man.
I appreciate being here. Thank you.
All right, folks, we are going to go to a Labriola Bakery Cafe timeout. When we return, we'll get into some players of the week and some other good stuff. Stay tuned.
Looking for a unique dining experience with incredible food? Then check out Labriola Bakery Cafe. Opened by Rich Labriola, Chicago's premier artisan baker, you know they'll have great bread, but you won't believe the rest of their menu. Wood-fired Neapolitan pizzas, fresh pasta, and their world-famous Richie Burger. There's also homemade gelato and, of course, their famous bread. Labriola Bakery Cafe and Neapolitan Pizzeria, conveniently located in the Oakbrook Promenade.
At Lisa Thomas Salon, we think loving yourself and your selfie starts with the perfect stylist. That's why we've assembled an amazing team, each with a unique passion for beauty, providing the perfect combination of innovation and experience. Then adding just a little bit of fun. For hair, skin, nails, and makeup, no one does beautiful like Lisa Thomas, because life's too exciting to settle for the same old thing. Schedule today at Lisa Thomas Salon, a Redfin Elite partner with 3 area locations.
We came up with a bunch of clever commercial ideas to entice you into trying Beggar's Pizza. We decided to let the food speak for itself.
I'm a half sausage for you and your husband and a half just cheese for the kids, who never seem to stop moving. Go ahead and take the night off, Mom. I got you covered. Beggar's Pizza. We lay it on thick.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner Show, brought to you by Beggar's Pizza. I'd like to thank Tom Mulvey, owner of Athletex Sports and Orthopedic Physical Therapy, for being our guest. All right, folks, time for Players of the Week. The Labriola Bakery Cafe Golden Baguette Player of the Week. We're going to hook up Oak Forest senior Juan Avila, 12 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals during a 70-54 win over Oak Lawn on Friday night. Juan is the guy who keeps this team together. He's the glue. He's the leader. We're going to hook him up with a nice $25 gift card, compliments of Labriola Bakery Cafe in Oak Brook, Chicago. Also can be used at Stan's Donuts locations and La Barra Restaurant in Oak Brook. Our Lisa Thomas Salon Teen Club Player of the Week. Providence's Lauren Knight recorded her 1,000th point of her career at Providence against De La Salle last week. That's big time, man. You get to 1,000 points in your career, so we're going to hook her up with a nice goodie bag, compliments of Lisa Thomas Salon. 3 locations, Mokina, Tinley Park, Orland Park. All right, folks, high and tight real quick. Great to see a capacity crowd at that Oak Lawn Oak Forest game at Oak Forest last Friday. Awesome. See you next week.